For years, Kenyans have been enjoying the music of Fundi Konde and his song, his runaway hit, Dereva Combo. Now, the song is about a tragedy that took place on the Likoni Channel in the 40s, or is it 50s, when an English vessel sank, with the passengers on it. Well, maybe the next time Kenyans listen to that song, they'll think of it very differently. At least I will. Because today is Sunday, exactly a week since Miriam Kigenda and her lovely 4-year-old daughter Amanda Mudeu left us. And it was all captured on video, and is still deep in the minds of a vast majority of Kenyans. A vehicle on the Likoni Channel, floating momentarily before sinking and vanishing. But a week later, this saga is clearly very far from ending. And in the last 2 days, Kenyans have witnessed some very strange happenings linked to this incident, including a directive from opposition leader Raila Odinga, and an expert who changed his mind, about how easy it was to retrieve the vehicle and its occupants. We will do some deep sea diving on all that in a minute, but first a quick announcement. Sema traffic jam kwa email account. Folks, I've been bombarded. One person said, Chris, some of us are very busy. We're not on YouTube every day. I take a few days, then I come and catch up. I have seen this offer of yours when it is already expired. Chris, this is unfair. Anyway, let me not bore you with my troubles in my email. The long and short of it all is that I've had to do something that I'm finding very difficult to do, but I have to do. And that is going back on my word. Because the truth is, I'm here because of my subscribers. I'm here because of all you good people who take in this channel. You take in the videos here in large numbers. And so the offer you see on your screens has been extended. But for a very, very brief period of time. And in case you're seeing this for the first time, this is a very easy way, the easiest way ever, to get bang into the middle of the Kumekucha boiler room. Weekly intelligence briefs and Club 1999. All the details on your screens. So let's move on very quickly, and head back to the Likoni channel. The first thing that has happened that I can't explain, that I find strange, is a statement issued by Raila Odinga, His Excellency, who is, of course, a principal of the handshake. Raila issued a directive, that's right, a directive for the dredging work going on in parts of the Likoni Channel to stop immediately because it is hampering recovery efforts. That was a good directive. Raila Odinga has got a track record of issuing good directives, of being empathic, understanding what Kenyans are going through. However, the big puzzle, at least for me, is that he issued the directive as who? Bila emotions, na bila my feelings, I just want to know. And I'm sure many Kenyans want to know. Let me just leave it at that. I will even resist the temptation to brag, because some people have been rubbishing what I've been saying on this channel. That indeed, Raila Odinga is one of the most powerful men in Kenya today. Fact. Anyway, I also hope that you take note of the fact that this statement from Raila Odinga tells you something key here. And that is that the Likoni Ferry Manenos has become a highly sensitive issue in the highest levels of government in Kenya. It is becoming very uncomfortable. That is clear. Now, the other strange thing that happened is linked to the efforts of a deep-sea diving expert, a Mzungu, of Swedish origin, but married to a Kenyan. He has been domiciled in our lovely country since the year 1990. And this Mzungu holds the world record for high-altitude deep water diving. And I believe the depth for that world record is 25 meters. Underwater, he achieved this in 2012 during a rescue operation because there was a chopper crash somewhere at the top of Mount Kenya, where, by the way, there's also a lake. And the Swede dived 25 meters underwater to retrieve the body of one of the victims of that tragedy. The Swede had an interview with KTN and bragged about how it would take him just a few minutes to find the car deep down there, somewhere in the Likoni Channel. And yesterday, he was given a chance. And he was at the Likoni Channel virtually the whole day. He emerged with the government spokesman and ate his words, literally, his earlier words. And he said he greatly underestimated the conditions down there. Which is okay. We are human and we make mistakes. Sometimes we underestimate tasks. It happens all the time, even with experts. However, what he said next was what I found strange. He said that he'll not go back down there. That in fact, he's going on a trip. And so, the Navy divers will continue. What? Something that has attracted national interest. You get involved in it, very briefly. And then you emerge and you tell us, you'll have to stop. Why? Because you're going on a trip. That is strange. In my humble view, it suggests that there's something else going on here. I don't know what it is yet, but I can tell you for sure there's something going on here behind the scenes that has caused this Mzungu to speak like that. Now, there's a possible explanation to all these strange things that are unfolding. And notice I use my words, I pick my words very carefully. I said there's a possible explanation. And it starts by appreciating the fact that this Likoni Manenos is turning out to be very embarrassing for the government of Kenya. Embarrassing and yet complex. The truth is, the economic loss of stopping the Likoni ferries from operating is nothing short of mind-boggling. And yet the government has been aware for a long time that the ferry services have issues. They're not completely safe. As we speak, the State Department of the government of the United States has cautioned its citizens from using the ferry. Why? Because of safety concerns. I think you're beginning to understand how sensitive and how delicate this issue is. And I believe that we saw a sign of that very early on, with the official police statement over the accident. Clearly in that statement, somebody was being so careful, that they ended up telling us lies. For instance, they said at the time of the mishap, the ferry was about to dock on the island side, which of course is not true. Now, the fellows at the Kenya Ferry Services, the people who run the ferry service, have told us the official word is that the vehicle in question actually engaged the reverse gear and reversed into the ocean. The Kenya police say that the brakes failed. So which is which? Let's take a deeper look at what could have happened. The biggest clue that we have to work with is that this incident affected only one vehicle. Thank God for that. But this clearly tells us there was something different about this particular vehicle. And the possibilities here are that one, maybe the handbrake wasn't working. And by the way, I know that what some people do when the handbrake is not working and they're going downhill or they're parked downhill is that they engage the reverse gear. And of course, there's a possibility while inside the ferry, the cars are normally very close to each other, so that they take in as many cars as possible. It is possible that somebody who has a faulty handbrake would engage the reverse gear, to avoid hitting the vehicle in front of them. But if somebody were to do this would be very dangerous. Why? Because the situation in the ferry changes. Maybe when you're entering the ferry, the car could have pressure to move forward. But then as the journey continues, that pressure changes and the car has pressure to move backwards. And then the deadliest things of all, is the following. That when you're inside the ferry and your car starts moving, you will not be aware that it's moving. Why? Because the motion of the ferry disorientates you. And so it is very possible, that the vehicle in question started moving slowly, and the occupants of the vehicle did not notice it. And it is very possible that they only noticed it when the vehicle was already in the water. Folks, this is yet another very good reason why when you park your vehicle inside the ferry, it is a very good idea, to get out of your vehicle. If your biggest fear is that the vehicle will hit the vehicle in front, that is a bad thing, yes, but it's a small issue when you compare it to your life. Now, let me also quickly hasten to add that it is possible also that there was nothing wrong with the handbrake on the vehicle. But people forget to engage the handbrake. People sometimes switch off their vehicles when it is still in gear. It happens all the time. The difference is it happens to people on land. You're not inside a moving ferry, and therefore you can easily and very quickly correct it because you'll notice your vehicle is moving. However, as we have said, when you're on a ferry, you will not notice that your vehicle is moving. It is very difficult to notice that. Now, I'm informed that investigators are already on this case. And one of the things they were very eager about was to get the vehicle. They were eager for it to be retrieved, so that they could look for evidence to support the Kenya Ferry Services official story that actually the reverse gear was engaged. If you want to charge people in court, you need something called evidence. And I guess this is what's happening here, the gathering of evidence. However, in my view, if I was the government, I'd handle this in a totally different way. I would be brave about it. I would take responsibility for not being careful enough running the ferry services. That is much more viable than looking for a scapegoat to blame. Because if there was a problem, you'd not expect the said employee of the Kenya Ferry Services to dig money out of their own salary to fix that problem. Funding comes from the government to fix all kinds of problems of the ferry. Funding comes from the government to ensure that the ferry is safe. You see, the Kenya Ferry Services is not a private entity. It's wholly owned by the government. And indeed, if it was a private entity, you can be sure that even as we speak today, there'd be people already in handcuffs. Directors and senior management, charged with criminal negligence. But I guess since it's government, it has to be handled differently. Now, I'd like to end my show today with the same appeal I made in my previous video. A passionate appeal to those in authority. And it's simply this: get the experts. A deep sea diver is not the expert you're looking for in this kind of operation. What you're actually looking for is an ocean recovery expert. But of course, you can try and play hero, with people with limited expertise and, more importantly, with limited equipment, or they don't even have the equipment necessary or required for this kind of operation. And it is possible, that this kind of people could get lucky. it is possible that they could actually retrieve this vehicle and its occupants. But that would be what the Americans call a very long shot. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.